Most writing rules are designed to keep your story legible. Use punctuation, avoid run-on sentences. These rules are like guardrails. They do provide structure, but they can also limit where your story can go. If your writing feels technically correct, but somehow soulless, I know the feeling, and it might be because you're letting the rules use you instead of you using them. Professional authors subvert and disregard rules all the time, but they do it with intention. That's the key point. They prioritize a specific feeling over technical perfection. And we can do exactly the same thing. So let's see how they do it. Starting with Cor McCarthy. When we looked at his fragmented sentences a few weeks ago, I asked if they bothered you, and the answer was a resounding no from most of you. Beyond that, in fact, quite a lot of you went to bat for him, arguing that his technical imperfection, if you want to call it that, is exactly what makes his stories hit so hard. So here's another example of how McCarthy dismantles the rules in favour of appealing directly to the reader's instincts and fears. This extract is from his book Blood Meridian, which is really dark and tumultuous, full of violence and the very worst of humanity. And I'm underselling it quite a bit. While I read this quick passage, pay attention to how it makes you feel. Far out on the desert to the north, dust spouts rose wobbling and augured the earth, and some said they'd heard of pilgrims borne aloft like dervishes in those mindless coils, to be dropped broken and bleeding upon the desert again, and there perhaps to watch the thing that had destroyed them lurch onward like some drunken gin and resolve itself once more into the elements from which it sprang. Out of that whirlwind no voice spoke, and the pilgrim lying in his broken bones may cry out, and in his anguish he may rage. But rage at what? Let me know if you agree, but to me the most striking thing here is that gigantic, sprawling, winding sentence. That feels like it has to be breaking writing rules, surely. We're always told, after all, to keep sentences a reasonable length. It's not just the length, though. It's also one of McCarthy's trademark characteristics, which is a total absence of punctuation. Writing like this is definitely not the clearest, most concise way to transfer information from the page to the reader. I'd argue it's actually not easy to read at all. In fact, I almost passed out reading it aloud. We established in my last video that there are no accidents in McCarthy's writing. It's all very much intentional. Which begs the question, why did McCarthy intentionally write such a chaotic sentence? Please do give me your interpretation in the comments. I know you'll have opinions about this, but mine is that it's supposed to seem out of control. The big picture message here is about the chaos of nature, the strange cosmic power of the elements. If we zoom in even closer, he's talking specifically about whirling, spinning dervishes and dust spouts carving through the desert until they finally come to rest. And you might notice the rhythm of that great big sentence follows that same pattern. As we read, it spins and spins and rises and dips with perpetual motion on and on and on until it finally comes to rest. We can feel the rhythm and the pattern there. Now, let's see how it feels if we put some of the rules back in place, if we add some punctuation and split this sentence up. See what you notice. Far out on the desert to the north, dust spouts rose wobbling and augured the earth. Some said they'd heard of pilgrims borne aloft like dervishes in those mindless coils, to be dropped broken and bleeding upon the desert again, there perhaps to watch the thing that had destroyed them lurch onward like some drunken gin, and resolve itself once more into the elements from which it sprang. Nowhere near as impactful, at least for me. I think we lose the circling, whirling feel of being held in the air, and the scene feels more under control somehow, less threatening. Adding the rules back in highlights how they actually take away from this passage. They make it easier to read, definitely, but they blur and diminish the feeling of the writing. There is another error hiding in that full passage that I read at the beginning too, and it's on the sexy and exciting subject of tenses. Look at how McCarthy starts first. Out of that whirlwind, no voice spoke. Past tense, standard, matching the preceding passage. But then look at the very next beat, and the pilgrim, lying in his broken bones, may cry out, and in his anguish he may rage. Suddenly we've been bumped into this hypothetical present tense. Why? If we once again assume this is intentional, why break the rules here? I think it's McCarthy bringing in the chaos of nature again, but not just the three-dimensional space of this vast desert, but the fourth dimension, time. By switching to may rage, McCarthy pulls this poor pilgrim bloke out of the past and sort of drops him into the now, uncomfortably close to us. The sentence changes then from just being something that happened to one man long ago into something I think represents the universal human condition that I'm always banging on about. It makes it feel like this process is happening right now. It's eternal, it's coming for us all, it's inescapable, it's never ending. Okay, let's see what happens if we fix this passage and follow the rules so that it's all past tense, matching the previous section. It changes to, and the pilgrim, lying in his broken bones, may have cried out, and in his anguish he may have raged. We can immediately feel it. Once again, the magic and that feeling is gone, or certainly vastly reduced. He may have raged makes the story feel so much smaller to me, more specific, so that it's just about that one pilgrim again at that one time. It's no longer reaching out through the pages and through time to make us feel a bit uncomfortable. It's closer to being correct, but I don't think it's haunting anymore. But it's not just a case of more words, less punctuation, make good story. If only it was that simple. This next example uses fewer than 100 words to make the reader feel something. And I don't mean there are 100 words in the extract, I mean the whole story. I've mentioned her work before, but I want to read you a story from friend of the channel, Laura Besley's collection of 100 stories that are all around 100 words each. I'll link it below. You should read it. It'll help you widen your approach to writing in a really inspiring way for exactly how it generates feeling in no space at all, and does so by, altogether now, breaking the rules. The story I'm about to read is actually under 100 words, and it's called Wishlist. As I read it, pay attention to how quickly your mood changes by the last line. Wishlist. Things I wish I'd told you sooner. I forgive you for getting me grounded when we were 10. It was me who stole your favourite black top, not Sandra, but I ruined it, so I threw it away. I love you. Pull a sickie, stay home. I didn't disapprove of Jonathan, but I was jealous. I didn't fancy him. I was jealous of the time you spent away from me. I love you. Quit your job, be late, whatever. I miss you every day. I love you. Just don't get on that bus. Huge thanks to Laura for being okay with me dissecting her work like this. Hopefully it's clear that I do so out of admiration. That last line hits really hard, no doubt about it. It delivers a feeling, and that's what we're all chasing whenever we write. And as you no doubt noticed, there are no paragraphs here. No dialogue tags, there's no setting, there's no scene at all. If you were looking at this as a standard story, follows none of the rules. But Laura's intention isn't to describe a scene. It's to capture the frantic, non-linear nature of grief. Or at least that's my interpretation of it anyway. Laura, correct me if I'm wrong. Instead of describing all the ways that the writer of this list misses the person that they've lost and telling us all the specifics of the memories and following all the rules of a standard story, we instead cut right to the moments of impact. We get the beats of a life that's ended too soon. And that's something that readers can feel. It brings us right back to the universal, the ever-present, just like with McCarthy. Whether it's 100,000 words or 100 words, the goal is the same: make readers feel something. When we look at it this way, the rules and whether or not the writer follows them are much less important. Breaking a rule is easy, of course, you just stop following it. But breaking a rule with purpose, I think, is what makes the difference to our stories. So don't start by asking which rules you need to break. Start by asking, what is the one feeling I want my reader to take away? Prioritize that feeling, focus on it, keep it with you while you write, and then if a rule gets in the way of that, break it. If some technical requirement is suffocating your story, push through it. The rules are there to serve the meaning, not the other way around. Here's the thing though, you can't break the rules to serve your story's meaning if you aren't quite sure what that meaning is yet. If you're struggling to nail down the why of your writing, here's how you can find the beating heart of your story. Thanks for watching, as always. Now go and break some rules, and happy writing.